stories and talk about the Supreme Court's important observations and crucial directives on the Places of Worship Act. It has become a big bone of contention for the last many months. While hearing a batch of petitions that challenge the constitutionality of the Act, the court ruled that no further suits on Mandir-Masjid's disputes can be registered until the matter is heard or disposed of by the apex court. So no fresh cases can be brought up, no PILs, no pleas will be admitted. CJI Sanjeev Khanna said that this matter requires detailed consideration, and the CJI made it clear that the courts are examining all contours and ambit of the Act. It's only appropriate, therefore, according to the CJI, for lower courts to stay their hands while the issue is sub judice at the highest level. What that means is that all the cases right now, the pending cases over these disputes, the pause button has been hit. Nothing can move forward, will not progress till the Supreme Court decides on the Places of Worship Act. The CJI also said the court is aware of the ongoing cases concerning the Mathura and Kashi disputes and stressed that the court would address these alongside the broader constitutional issues raised.
देखिए, हमारा ये कहना है कि ये प्लेस ऑफ वर्शिप एक्ट में बहुत साफ-साफ लिखा हुआ है कि रिलीजियस कैरेक्टर चेंज नहीं होगा और रिलीजियस कैरेक्टर बिना जांच किए पता नहीं चल सकता। इसमें कहीं पे रिलीजियस आइडेंटिटी की बात नहीं हुई है, यहाँ ढांचे की बात ही नहीं हो रही, कैरेक्टर की बात हो रही है और कैरेक्टर बिना सर्वे किए पता ही नहीं चल सकता। ये तो जबरदस्ती बात हो रही है कि खुदाई होगी, कहां से खुदाई होगी? आज खुदाई की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, बिल्डिंग को टच भी करने की जरूरत नहीं है। राडार टेक्नोलॉजी है, जीपीएस टेक्नोलॉजी है, कार्बन डेटिंग टेक्नोलॉजी है। आप बैठे बैठे पता चल सकते हैं कि इस स्ट्रक्चर की फाउंडेशन कब बनी, दीवार कब बनी, गुंबद कब बना। इसकी जांच करना बहुत जरूरी है।
Okay, let's bring in Anisha Mathur on this broadcast for more details. Anisha, run us through really what the Supreme Court directive means. Now, with all of the existing cases, and there are about 10 of them, what happens to them? You essentially hit the pause button. Can nothing move on any of them, even those where, the court has said you can go ahead with the survey?
Well, Akshata, clearly what the Supreme Court has said today is that when the highest court of the land is hearing an issue and it is looking at the entire contour, the virus, at the applicability of the 1991 Places of Worship Act, then it is not appropriate for the lower courts to continue hearing any matter. So what the court has said specifically is that no orders, whether it is interim orders, whether it is any orders on applications, or any orders of survey, can be passed by any court regarding any such dispute over a religious structure. Secondly, and more importantly, no fresh suits will be entertained, will be registered or heard by any court. What this means is that for the last several months, we've been looking at various issues coming up across the country with regards to claims regarding mandir, temples and masjids. All of those now effectively cannot be heard till the court takes its decision on the Places of Worship Act validity. The hearing that happened today, it was quite a short hearing, especially since these matters have been pending since 2020. The challenge to the validity of the Places of Worship Act has been pending since 2020. The centre was once again asked that notice was issued to you in 2022. Why have you not filed any response? Why have you not taken any stance yet? The centre has now been given 4 weeks of time to respond. But at the moment, all the cases, including Kashi, including Mathura, including the other matters, whether it is Ajmer, whether it is Sambhal, all of those questions that have been asked regarding surveys, all of those now, no orders can be passed by the civil court and no fresh cases can be registered or heard by the civil courts till the Supreme Court passes its decision. So this is effectively putting a pause on all the Mandir-Masjid disputes across the country because we've been seeing these coming up in various areas. Back to you.
Very true. Anisha, thanks for those details. Anisha also highlighting that the centre has 4 weeks now to respond. Remember, since 2022, they've not filed their response despite being asked to do so by the court. But let's tell you about all of the cases right now pending in court. Mosque, masjids, fights that are playing out. You've got the Jama Masjid in Sambhal, which according to the Hindu side, the petition that was filed in court has been built over the Sri Harihar temple by Babur. Now, the survey order, remember, which was first issued by a lower court, was then halted by the Supreme Court. And that's the current status over which there will now be a hold. There'll be no further hearings because of the Supreme Court's directive today. Similarly, the Gyanvapi Mosque in Varanasi, the claim is it's been built over the Lord Vishweshwar temple by Aurangzeb. Survey was allowed. The document of what the survey has revealed is with the court. Again now, it will be stalled at that particular stage. The Shahi Idgah Mosque in Mathura, one of the biggest contentious issues. The allegation, the petition, multiple of those, is that it's been built over the Krishna Janmabhoomi site. The hearing on this is underway. It could take time now because the Supreme Court has said nothing will move on any of these cases. The Ajmer Sharif Dargah of Ajmer. Now, the site is originally a Shiva temple, is what the petition claims. Notices have been issued on the place, so the hearing really hasn't begun just yet, and it's going to take some time, obviously, for the hearing to kick off with these directives today. The Qutub Minar Mosque in Delhi, iconic location, a heritage site of the national capital. The allegation is that it's been built with the ruins of 27 Hindu and Jain temples. The hearing is underway in this matter in the courts. Now, the hearing will be paused till the Supreme Court decides on the Places of Worship Act. Now, let's talk about more cases. Bhojshala in Madhya Pradesh, there's a showdown over the Kamal Molla Mosque. Now, the claim is it's been built over a Saraswati temple. The survey was actually allowed in this particular case. The documents of what that survey is revealed is with the court. Again, over there now you can't see any development for the time being. Now, let's talk about also in Uttar Pradesh, Badaयूं, the Shahi Masjid. Now, the allegation has been built over a Neelkant Mahadev temple. That's what the petition says. It's in court. The hearing is underway. These are all in lower courts. Then in fact, Lucknow, you have the Telewali Masjid, which, according to the petition, has been built over a demolished Hindu structure. The hearing, again, is underway in a Lucknow court. For now, there will be a pause on this. The Atala Masjid in Jaunpur of Uttar Pradesh. The case actually came up now, where you had a hearing happening today. Now, the claim is that the temple was actually repurposed into a mosque by the Tughlaq dynasty. The hearing is underway in this matter. The hearing took place today as well. But after this, it will have to wait for at least 4 weeks before there will be any progress or any hearing. Now, the Sheikh Chishti Dargah in Fatehpur Sikri of Uttar Pradesh. The claim is, the petition claims this was originally a Kamakya Devi temple. Notices have been issued on the place. It hasn't really moved forward hearing-wise. We'll see what really happens. These are 10 cases that are right now in court, over which there will be no development, no progress, because the Supreme Court has said, wait till we hear the issues on Places of Worship Act. Now, there's one more issue, which is Taj Mahal of Agra. Now, over this too, there was a petition filed in multiple courts, and the allegation is that Taj Mahal originally was a temple called Tejo Mahalay. This plea was dismissed, and the plea was dismissed multiple times. Nothing changes on this front, considering that it's now out of court. Well, why is it that you're seeing this massive discourse and questions over the Places of Worship Act? What is it that the Supreme Court will now look into based on the petitions that have been filed? I explained to you everything you need to know about this Places of Worship Act. That's the talk of the town right now. With Hindu-Muslim tensions and mosque-temple spats ruling the news cycle, there's a heated debate on judicial rulings on these issues. And at the heart of it is the Places of Worship Act. The Places of Worship Special Provisions Act 1991 was enacted, yes, in 1991, at the peak of the Ram Mandir agitation, and essentially states that the religious character of any place of worship as it existed on August 15, 1947 must be maintained. Here's the most important part of the Act. Section 3 of the Act bars the conversion in full or part of a place of worship of any religious denomination into a place of worship of a different religious denomination, or even a different segment of the same religious denomination. To dump it down for you, essentially, if it's a Muslim place of worship, it can't be converted into a Hindu place of worship. The law, which has been a part of the Congress's 1991 election manifesto, was meant to put to bed all controversies arising out of the alleged historical conversion of a place of worship. Now, while introducing it in Parliament, the then Home Minister S.B. Chavan had said, and I'm quoting what he said, the enactment of this bill will go a long way in helping restore communal amity and goodwill. But it's important to also note here that the Babri Masjid Ram Janmabhoomi dispute was specifically kept outside its purview, outside this Act's purview, as the dispute was already sub judice when this law was passed. The Supreme Court itself had, in its 2019 verdict in the Ayodhya title suit, read the guarantee offered by the Places of Worship Act as part of the basic structure of the Constitution. I'll just read out for you the Supreme Court ruling, an important line here. The state has, by enacting the law, enforced a constitutional commitment and operationalized its constitutional obligations to uphold the equality of all religions and secularism, which is a part of the basic structure of the Constitution. So why then are there even petitions being filed seeking conversions of places of worship and surveys and whatnot? That's because of what happened in the Supreme Court in August 2023. The then Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud led a bench which permitted a survey to be carried out at the Gyanvapi Mosque in Varanasi to examine whether the mosque has been built on a temple. So does that essentially go completely against the Places of Worship Act? Not really, because here's what the ex-CGI said. While noting that there could be no conversion of the place, Chandrachud said the structure's original character, as he put it, could always be determined. This essentially means that an inquiry into what the nature of the place of worship was on August 15, 1947 can be allowed, even if that nature can't be subsequently changed because of the act. But then, it wasn't just Gyanvapi. Later that year, a local court in Mathura admitted a plea seeking the transfer of the land of the Shahi Idgah Mosque in the city to a Hindu trust for the construction of a temple at the Krishna Janmabhoomi, leading to a heightened chorus of Ayodhya Jhaki Hai, Kashi Mathura Baki Hai, which essentially translates to Ayodhya is done, Kashi and Mathura are pending, are next. So while the title suits essentially claiming access or the right to worship in Varanasi and Mathura continue, there's also, interestingly, a constitutional challenge to the Places of Worship Act 1991 that's pending before the Supreme Court. The Apex Court currently has before it 4 separate petitions that challenge the Act itself, that challenge the Places of Worship Act. In September 2022, a bench that was headed by then CJI UU Lalit had directed the government to file a response on its stand within 2 weeks on this issue, on the Places of Worship Act. 2 years on, however, the centre is yet to actually file its affidavit. So even as the Union Government and Apex Court are taking their time on this issue, several pleas have been filed before high courts, before local courts, seeking surveys of mosques, not to change the place of worship, but to determine what exactly stood there before. In Agra, there's a plea seeking an ASI survey of the Jama Masjid. In Karnataka, a plea seeks a survey of the Jamia Masjid in Srirangapatna. In Rajasthan, a plea claims that a Shiva temple lies below the Ajmer Dargah. Surveys have been conducted of the Jama Masjid in Sambal and of the Bhojshala in Dhar, Madhya Pradesh, and that list goes on.